Okay, so previously we looked at drawing shapes using the paint method that is provided as part of the J-frame class. As I stated before, we can paint or draw these shapes on the screen with color, and instead of drawing hollow shapes, we can draw filled-in shapes. As you'll see in the program on my screen, I've got a couple of things here. The color class is provided as a part of the Abstract Window Toolkit library. And the color class provides us with the ability to set colors that we want to use when things are being drawn. Now, we've used this a little bit already when it comes to defining, especially if you were in 111, we used the color class to define the color that we wanted for either the foreground or background of the window or the text box, and we stuck mainly with the color constants. There are 13 of those constants, and they are black, dark gray, light gray, pink, blue, gray, magenta, white, cyan, green, yellow, and red. When we are interested in changing the color that our pen or paintbrush is using to draw objects onto the screen, we can use the set color method. Of the graphics class in order to make that change. You can see an example I have highlighted here. We're calling the set color method, and we're providing it the color .blue, which again, blue is a constant that identifies the color we want to paint in. And then all of the filled in shapes that we draw using the various filled methods will be in that blue color. Let's take a look at some of these methods. The first one is the rounded rectangle, and you can see that here, or I'm sorry, the fill rectangle, fill rec, which you can see here. The big difference you're going to find in these methods, instead of draw rec, we've got fill rec. So draw has been replaced by fill. Essentially, it draws a square or a rectangle filled in with the color specified in the pen or the brush. And again, we've specified that color by calling the set color method. So fill rec, again, just like draw rec, takes the starting point, X and Y, and remember that's going to be the top left corner. It takes a size and a width. We can also draw a rounded rectangle filled in with fill round rec. Again, top left corner, X and Y, width and height, and then the width and height of the arcs on the corners. Draw oval. Again, we provide the X and Y, the width, the X and Y in that order, along with the width and the height. That draws us in a circle that has been completely filled in. The last one is a little more interesting to take a look at, and that is going to be the draw arc. Again, the arc is essentially a circle within a bounding box, and we're going to decide which part of that circle to show. So we're going to figure out a start from 80 degrees, or from 0, which happens to be at the 3 p.m. mark. 90 degrees is at 12. 180 degrees is at 9 o'clock. And so on. You can see how that will roll around the clock. When it comes to drawing a filled rectangle or a filled in arc, what it looks like is going to depend on the start and end points, what degree we're starting on and what degree we're ending on. Because if we go too far around the middle, we'll get what looks like a pizza pie with a slice cut out of it. If the points along the arc are close together, it'll look more like a slice of pizza. Again, you'll see where we've created a window handler class To extend the window adapter, that's going to handle all of our window events in this program. We're not just stuck with these 13 color constants either. If we wanted to create our own colors, we can. We do that by creating a color object, and you'll see it here. I called it My Color. And we just specify the color object we created when we call set color. When you're creating a color object, you have to remember a couple of things. You have between 0 and 0.2, between 0 and 255. You need to provide in this order the amount of red, the amount of green, and the amount of blue to make the new color. The reason for this is every pixel of your monitor has a red, green, and blue light in it that is displayed by a backing of I forget what I was going to say now. That is highlighted by a light in the back of the monitor. So the idea is that we are going to adjust the color by adjusting. Each pixel has these little colored lights in it. We're going to adjust individually each colored light. Now, if you need finer control, you can also provide a floating point decimal between 0 and 255, and that'll give you a little bit of extra control. For what we're going to do, we can just stick with integers. My example here adds 30 red, 25 green, and 100 blue to make a particular color. And again, everything will be drawn in this color until we call set color again. If you click next, you can take a look at in-class exercise 5, which looks very similar to this. Once you have built that exercise successfully, you can move on to the next page where you will see a video walkthrough of that exercise. And finally, once you get through the exercise, you can go on to the next section of the discussion.